Now, this shooting marks the third deadliest school shooting in modern U.S. history, behind Virginia Tech and Sandy Hook Elementary. And it was that mass shooting at Sandy Hook that sparked the creation of a program called Stop the Bleed. In the next 3 minutes, what we're going to show you could save your life.
A shooting, a lawnmower accident, a car crash. When emergencies happen and you have a life-threatening bleed, what happens in the first 3 minutes can mean the difference between life and death.
First, you need to make sure you're safe yourself. So if you're on 95, being in the lane of traffic is not the safest place. Whether you're an active shooter situation or maybe an industrial accident, you need to be safe first, because the last thing we need is more victims.
Dr. Brian Yorgaitis, a trauma surgeon at UF Health in Jacksonville, travels the country teaching what everyone should know to stop the bleed after an injury. We invited him, flight paramedic J.D. Montgomery, and the Trauma One team to First Coast News to teach us the ABCs of bleeding.
A is alert 911. You have to call for help. In some of these chaotic situations, help may not be called because everyone thinks you're doing it or someone else is doing it. So we ask that you assign someone specifically or yourself. B, bleeding. Find the bleeding. Are they bleeding from the leg, arm? You might have to take their clothes off to see the sign of bleeding. And C, compress.
You can bleed to death in just 3 to 6 minutes, so every second counts. If you have a tourniquet and have been trained to use it, apply it as quickly as possible above the joint. And don't loosen it, even if the patient complains it's too tight.
Tighten, twist, and then lock it in place. And that's all you gotta do. I just saved my own life in seconds.
Dr. Yorgaitis cautions against using an improvised tourniquet like your belt or a string.
We really need a commercially made tourniquet.
Good job.
That really provides that good pressure and an equal distribution to stop bleeding. It hurts to have a tourniquet applied, but it saves life. If you use a small string, you're not gonna distribute that force, and you're not gonna help the patient.
If you don't have a tourniquet and someone has a large wound that's bleeding, what you want to do is grab some gauze like this. If you don't have gauze nearby, you can always use a towel, a t-shirt, even your own socks. Then you're going to want to pack the wound as deep as you can go. So just continue to put the gauze or the towel in as far as it will go. And then you're going to want to apply direct, continuous pressure until help arrives.
We know the Pulse nightclub shooting, lives were saved by direct pressure. There were no tourniquets inside that building, but there were people that were willing to apply direct pressure. As a result, they saved lives.
The most common mistake made, he says, is lifting up the gauze or towel to see if the bleeding has stopped.
All that's going to do is allow the patient to bleed more, and it's going to disrupt any type of clot that has formed at the site of bleeding.
Whether treating yourself or someone else, these steps are proven to help save lives when the clock is ticking.
It doesn't take long for you to lose enough blood for it to be fatal. So the more people that are able to jump in and know what to do, the better chances you'll have at surviving.
Now, last year, Trauma One trained more than 1,000 people here in the Jacksonville area, and the training is completely free. We have a link to bleedingcontrol.org on our website where you can find a local class and sign up.